Hello everyone, good morning to all of you. Today we are going to read our next chapter from the book Hornbill, and you can see on the top of the screen the name of the chapter is We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. Right? Now in this particular prose we are going to see a journey of a particular family and their different kinds of experience throughout the journey which they are making in order to reach somewhere, in order to have a kind of adventure uh, through the seas, right? So they are having a boat and they are sailing it, and when they are moving towards their destination, there are different kinds of adventure and different kinds of experience they are getting. So what kind of uh, experience they are getting, this is all about the story, right? So let's go into the details without wasting any time. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan, 6, daughter Susan, 7, and I set sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So in the first line we got the introduction about the entire family, that this I is actually Gordon Cook, right? So the date is also clear, 1976 July, and this particular man is having a family with the son, daughter. The age of the son is 6, the daughter is having the age of 7 years old, and they are moving towards what, from Plymouth, England, to duplicate the round, means to copy or to have the same kind of journey, the same kind of route, the world voyage, the journey made 200 years earlier, means this same route was already, someone has already gone throughout this route, and he is none other than Captain James Cook. So this family is trying to copy the entire route. So let's see. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamed of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer, and for the past 16 years, we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills in British waters. So, for a long time, Mary, means the wife, and the husband, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamed of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer. So they were having this kind of dream, this kind of hobby, and for the last 16 years we had spent all our leisure, means whenever we are free, we are using our leisure time, the free time, in order to sharpen our seafaring skills, that how to survive in the sea, or what kind of techniques we need to take in order to complete the journey in the British waters. So they were having a kind of training for how long time, how many long time, that is the 16 years. Our boat Wave Walker, a 23-meter 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built. So this is the name of the boat, Wave Walker, 23-meter long and 30-ton wooden hulled beauty. So this was the weight. Had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So they have taken all the precautions, all the setup, in order to complete their journey, that I have said in the first paragraph. And here also you can see that they are making the boat which they are testing in the roughest weather. Okay, so they are already well prepared. The first leg of our planned 3-year, it's 105,000 kilometer journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Swigler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. So this was the measurement, the kilometer, that the first leg of our journey, means of the plan, means the first, means round that they are about to take. Okay, and when they are, as we sail down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Cape Town, if you remember the world map, Africa, and Cape Town is at the means the west coast of South Africa to Cape Town. And from here, there, before heading east, from there means that, if you remember, as I said, that the map of the Africa, from here now they are moving towards the east. So through in that east there is the Indian Ocean, and beside that there is Australia. So now, before going to the east side, they are taking two crewmen so that they can survive in the roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. Strong gales means strong winds. For the next few weeks, they blew continuously. Gales didn't worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters as high as our mainmast. Now, what he is saying, that the weather condition is not at all good. There were strong winds, but he was not at all worried about the strong winds. But the size of the waves was alarming, means a kind of indication that the husband, that the main protagonist of the story, he is getting, that is, the waves are up to 15 meters as our main mast means, if you imagine a boat, there we are having a stick, a wooden stick, on which the cloth is hanged in order for the movement of the wind. Okay, so just a minute. If we try to draw it like this, if it is a boat, so this is what the writer is saying about the main mast. So the waves were as high as this, if it is a boat, if we consider this. Okay, so you can imagine that the size of the waves were quite long. Next, we are getting December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, we had a wonderful holiday, complete with a Christmas Eve. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon. And it did change for the worse. And December 25 found us that this is the location, that 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. We are already in the mid, or in that ocean, in that toughest ocean, Indian Ocean, and they were just expecting that the weather should improve from bad to good, but it was completely different. It was what? And it did change. The weather changed definitely, but for the worse. And the weather is very rough. At dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. We were sailing with only a small storm jib and were still making 8 knots. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless, enormous seas rolling towards us. And the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. So you can see that these are the expressions that is clearly showing us that the weather condition, or the entire atmosphere is not at all good. They are going to face a different kinds of situation, and they are also aware about this, the screaming, the wind, the sprays. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. So now you're getting different kinds of terms. These are all connected to the boat, and they are taking all the necessary steps in order to survive. And they are just the last line, as I have said, and lashed a heavy mooring rope. Now they are lashing that rope in a loop across the stern means the backside. Okay, so they are taking all the necessary precautions. Then we double lashed everything, went through our life raft drill, attached lifelines, donned oilskins and life jackets, and waited. And we have taken all the precautions. that life jacket is with us, that down oil skins means the suit, that is also with us, the lifelines is also with us. So everything is ready if something, disaster is going to happen. So we are mentally and technically we are also ready. The first indication of impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. with an ominous silence. Ominous uh, means all the side, present all over. Okay, ominous silence. So this is the timing, 6 p.m. The wind dropped and the sky immediately grew dark. Then came a growing roar, and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship. So the entire atmosphere suddenly changed. The silent and the cloud is on the top of the boat. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud, but a wave like no other I had ever seen. And with horror, and obviously a man is completely understanding that they are going to face the disaster, and suddenly he realized that it was not actually a cloud, it was actually the wave, and the size of the wave was so big that he thought that probably it is a cloud. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves, and with a frightful breaking crest. The roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the wheel, and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. I accepted my approaching death, and as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. Now, what happened actually? The disaster ultimately knocked the boat. The waves ultimately knocked the boat, and he can understand that the boat is about to, break, and the waters, the green and white waters, this line, the green and white waters, already it is on the ship. My head smashed into the wheel, and I am completely aware. I can see that I am flying over the board, overboard, and sinking below the waves, and I am already under the waves. And I accepted my approaching death, and I am going to accept this, that this is the last day. This is the time that I am going to end my life. And I was losing consciousness, and I felt quite peaceful, and he was feeling very peaceful because he can feel that I am about to die, right? So this was the part 1 means the video number 1. So in this particular part we got to know about many details: the family, their training time, the exact details of the boat, their map, okay, the 2 assistants that they are taking, then this date wise, the different kind of changes that they got to know in this regarding this weather condition. And ultimately the disaster happened, and the narrator is feeling that I am about to die. Now in this video number 2, next video, we will get to know that whether he died, whether he accepted his death, or have done something in order to survive again, right? Thank you.